Hello, motorway to Roswell. Got to change glasses, I'm afraid. Didn't find the comb either. Did not find my comb, which is of some concern. It doesn't sit well with me. Oh, that's better. That's better. I'm just going to check my bag, see if my comb's in my bag. Occasionally, if I'm going to a restaurant and I ride my motorbike, I take my crash helmet off, and I look like something horrific. So I very rarely put my comb in the bag, but no, we've got a missing comb over. Could do some water as well. I reckon this might be two people we know tonight. Motorway to Roswell said he's going to pop in. Probably popped out already. I know it's proper late. Yeah, just me and Motorway to Roswell, and he's probably having his dinner already. Well, I'll just sit about. I'll watch some videos and see if anyone turns up. I just thought I'd do something nice. A little something for the heroes. But I am slowly realising it's a terrible time of day. Oh, where could that comb be? Oh, where could that comb be? Where could that comb be? Well, don't worry, Motorway to Roswell. Don't feel in any way obliged, my friend. You know, it's no dramas. I'm going to sit here and watch someone polish a pair of boots. Oh, what, my God, the hell? Sensum communum. Look at that. There you go. Thee is doing well, mon son. I mean, this is the laugh of these things, isn't it? So, see, look, I haven't got my comb, and now Sensum communion comes on, and I'm looking far from my best. I've got a yogurt in my hand because a minute ago it was just me and Motorway to Roswell. You're gonna have to excuse me. I don't eat a yogurt with a spoon. It's just it's a drink for me. I invented yop. It's just a yogurt. And out here you get it out of the fridge, and within the space of walking from the fridge to sitting down, it's largely a drink anyway. I will hide the licking of the lid though. That's just disrespectful. And I'll tell you why it's disrespectful. My mother does it, and she doesn't give a shit. She's just there going, and her tongue, it's almost Down syndrome, sort of oversized. And sometimes I see it out the corner of my eye, just thinking, come on, Mum. There's other and better ways. But you know what you're going to do. Lovely to see you, Sensum. I hope you've been all right, mate. What is it? You've been working. My new favourite phrase, of course, is I'd rather be moaning about working than moaning about not working. Here we go. Yeah, I bought a movie star hairstylist tool on Amazon. I asked for Robert Redford, but after I used it, they'd obviously sent me the Yul Brynner. I thought that was going to be a serious question. There's a bit of software called Jungle Scout. It takes a bit of getting used to. I'm being serious here. Working for the man and his VPN Stasi. Yeah, there you go. I know that one. He's got Jungle Scout. this bit of software, and takes a bit of getting used to. Quite a pricey bit of software. I can't remember how much. Maybe 800 a month. No, 800 a year, but per user. So if you've got 5 marketing staff and they all want to use it, you look at 800. Don't quote me on that. I don't want to get in trouble by Jungle Scout. It might be more or less than that. But it allows you to analyze what's selling on Amazon, what's selling well, what's selling at what prices, how many competition there are, all the data you need, really, if you know how to interpret the data to work out if you can get hold of them at price X, if you can get hold of quantity X at price Y and sell them in time Z, you'll make money W. And it sounds a little bit dull because earning a crust is a little bit dull unless you're a writer or something, or you're doing something you love. That's why I said writer, obviously. But the thing about Jungle Scout, I've got friends who are, well, the people that told me about it and put me onto it, they're targeting individual items. They're not going for a, well, they are. They're going for a shop. But they're hello, Silences, Ledden. Good to see you, mate. Amazing to have some heroes on the firm. You go to they're going to build a shop, but they're starting off with individual items. And so, what was it he found? He found this. It was this thing to go on holiday with. It was some kind of bag for women, a holiday bag for women. We've all taken many men have taken a bag on holiday. Just because there's no women in yet, I think I can get away with it. One of them done this thing, and he worked out all the XYZs and that, and he worked out something like if he could get 5,000 of these at less than $5 a piece and sell them in 3 months, it'd be up something like 20,000. I deliberately said 20,000, and he did. He got hold of them. He got hold of them at half the price he intended to get hold of them at, because you obviously negotiate because you know what you need. And he got rid of them in 18 days, not 3 months. 20 grand profit, 18 days. And then you put that data back into your Jungle Scout, and then you follow Jungle Scout and see what's happening, because then what happens is some of your competition start going, well, where's our sales? Because you might be better at SEO, you might be better at marketing, you might have had some people interview you about it, you might have been on some podcasts, and everyone's bought them from you. So everyone else who was selling them has, excuse my English, fucked them off, which means you're now dominated what was a saturated market. So you've got so there was 30, 40 people selling them, but most of them have jacked it in. So now there's about 4 people selling them, and they've put their prices up. You've put your prices down because you're going to sell shitloads, and you're going to be buying more off the supplier. So you negotiate with the supplier. Well, hang on a minute, mate. I paid you $3.50 last time. Now I want to buy 3 times as many. Surely that's $2.80. Oh no way. That's $3. Nah, $2.90. All right. Get them. The lot gone. 25 days. And no one else is selling them anymore. There's no point, because this geezer The market was saturated, and now it is still saturated just by him. He's outdone them all. So now he's got that, and now he's working with Jungle Scout, and he's just keeping it going. And Jungle Scout allows him to put the price back up, because these people, that even when his opposition, his competition, might see, well, hang on a minute, he was selling them at $3 last week, and they're $5 now. Well, we'll get them. It's still gonna take them a few months, or like say 3 or 4 weeks to get the stock in. And when they get the stock in and they sell it at £5 like he is, they'll go back down to $3.50, and they'll be like, "You bastard," and they'll be lumbered with them. Now, he's got 4 or 5 of his lads working on it. He taught them all how to use Jungle Scout. And they're all doing these individual items, and they're all completely unrelated. He hasn't got like a shop selling shoe shine cream, or he hasn't got stuff doing model railways. He's just using Jungle Scout to see what's moving, to see how much, it's got information on it, like how many you need to sell at what price. And if it's something like you need to sell 200,000 at $20, most people are going to think, well, I haven't got the capital to get them in, so you just move on. But you can also put into Jungle Scout, this is how much money I've got. I've got 30 grand to spend. So then it'll work it out from there. I've got 30 grand to spend. I want it back. I want it turned around in 4 weeks, blah, blah, blah. It's really good. It's really good. And listen, this is something that might blow your mind. Amazon currently accounts for 50% of the American market. 50% of the American market. And this is what I say to everyone. People saying, well, there's no work, or there's no this, there's no this. Generate wealth. Generate your own wealth. It's not about having jobs. If you want to work for someone else, and some people do. There's a bloke at my work, and he's been under me for 15 odd years. And I said to him, you know how to do all this. You know how to do it better than me. Ever thought of sorting it out? And he said, nah. He said, because at 5:30, that computer gets switched off. I go home, I put my feet up, I forget about work. And then I'll roll in at 10:30 in the morning and start again. He said, when do you stop thinking about work? I said, I'll never stop thinking about work. He said, yeah, he said, that's not me. And there you go. There you go, 50% of the Western market. There you go. Well, while we're here, while there's a couple of us here. Oh, very good. I thought Gavin was very good earlier. I thought Gavin was very good. I like the way he dropped in a couple of scrubisms to let us know that he watches the channel, and isn't just on the edges. Dropped in a couple of things. I thought that was quite cool. And I'm really into what he's talking about. That's where I am at the moment. I am. I am red pilled because I've been there, and I am occasionally white pilled, but for sure, I'm on the clear pill. I've seen through it. It's transparent. This falls apart. It's already happening. and all this talk. Sensum, you missed it, of course. We had Gavin Bobby on talking about the clear pill. This morning I'd done a stream called the transparent pill, and it was kind of like I ended up yabbing for so long. I yabbed for 55 minutes, and we only had about 25 minutes on the transparent pill. But I got old Big Balls Bobby on, because he is at the same area that I'm on now. He's all on with this clear pill. The demographic issues we're experiencing in Europe are actually coming to an end because they can't sustain themselves. The money's running out, the welfare's running out, and people will slowly be making their way back home. And it's a really odd angle, but once you get it, once you understand the different sort of angles from which to look at it, you do get it. You do get it. And I had a mate of mine, and he's based, he's not active, but he is based. He talked to me about it today, and what did he say? That was, I just forgot. That's why this was going to be laid back. I've done 2 streams. I've worked all in between. Should really be resting, but I wanted to be around some people I'm all right with. Let me get you this chunk. We'll scout up. But what was I going to tell you about him? What did he say to me? Hang on. Oh, yeah. I showed him. I showed my mate. I talked to him about the clear pill, and I talked to Nietzsche because I quoted a bit of Nietzsche right at the end of my presentation today with Bobby, my internet presentation event. By the end of it, I've been reading a lot of Nietzsche in view of the clear pill. I mean, it's a bit much doing streams and trying to explain Nietzsche and the clear pill, so I kind of haven't put them together in public yet. But he said to me, "Do you honestly think millions of people are going to go halfway around the world and take their families with them?" And so many people have said that to me. And my answer to all of them is, well, they've already done it once. They've already done it. They've done it hiding under fucking trains, holding on to the axles under trains. They've sneaked themselves into lorries. This will be paid train tickets. This will be a packed lunch full of food. This will be assisted. There'll be none of this 15 grand nonsense. I don't think there'll be any need for that. They'll just want to get home because the climate has changed. The money's all dried up. The hostility is raging. Silence is leaden says, I think Gavin's first appearance was the first guest stream of yours I watched. It was probably your interview with Mark. Hang on. I think Gavin's first appearance was the first guest stream of yours I watched. It was possibly your interview with Mark. No, I think what you're getting confused, or perhaps I am. Gavin's been on my channel 4 or 5 times, but he went on Mark's stream as well about a week after he was on here because they fell out over a couple of things, and they did during Mark's stream as well. It was a little bit awkward and tetchy. I think they both come out of it friends because they're both mature adults, but it certainly felt a little bit combative. What's the word? Combative. Is that right? Sensum says, But isn't the money running out part of the plan in order to bring in a technocratic, benevolent global government who will absolve all debt in exchange for compliance? And when I hear stuff like that, Sensum, it sounds like science fiction to me. Sounds like science fiction. I mean, how is that actually? Yeah. There was. How was that actually going to happen? When people's children aren't getting fed, when people aren't getting any medical help, when they're not getting their 30 quid at the end of the week because the dole's run out, when their drains are blocked and there's diphtheria and there's like Legionnaire's disease in people's areas, and there's ghettos forming, and all the white people are disappearing and forming communities with white people who are happy to help each other, whereas the rest of the British Isles is made up of various different people from various different countries who are actually stealing from each other, who aren't helping each other. They've realised there's an easier way. There's physical violence and dominance. But because we're the super majority, we realise that, hang on a minute, we can help each other. We can build communities with each other, and we can exchange skills. You know, it feels to me, Sensum, that there's this a technocratic, benevolent global government who will absolve all debt in exchange for compliance. Well, all right, well, let's say they absolve all debt. No one's got any debt, all right. But what are people eating? What are people eating? Because what you just said, requires it happening on a global level at the same time. And it won't happen at the same time. And people will see it happening in different places. And they'll start preparing against it. You know, that sounds like science fiction to me. I mean, that's not a great analysis of what you've said. But I can't see people going to work. You're going to work and you ain't getting any money. What about what like the British Isles? If you're not generating wealth, are you allowed to generate wealth when you've got a technocratic but benevolent global government? I'm not interested in your technocratic, benevolent global government. I want to generate wealth. I want to create things. I want to create things and I want to provide a service. And you're saying to me, nah, you can be a slave, and I'll get rid of all your debt. Yeah, but I haven't got any debt, and I can make more money. And then someone else sees someone doing that, and they say, well, hang on a minute, I don't want to do that either. I'm actually quite skilled in the art of blah, 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 and they do it. And then suddenly you start developing a class system where there's people who are generating wealth and doing pretty well out of it and using it to form decent communities. And then there's other people who are drudging off to work like Fungus the Bogeyman, and they've got no debt, no money, and fuck all else. I just don't see that working. I just don't think that engages in any way with the human spirit. Yes. So there was there was something. There was internet kryptonite was being thrown around, And also Bobby kept talking about ethnic cleansing, and Mark said, "Can you stop bloody saying ethnic cleansing?" Which I thought was quite good. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Let me show you this. Let's have a little look at this. So hopefully you can see that all right. Great website, lovely landing page. Just tells you exactly what you want to know. You know, there you go. That's exactly that. That's your value proposition. Unlock your Amazon potential. Get the leading all-in-one platform for finding, launching, and selling Amazon products. That's your detailed value proposition. So in 2 lines, you know what this is. You know what Jungle Scout does. First time existing and brands and agencies, and then you can just they got a bit of social proof here. Pretty good as well. Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., and Wall Street Journal. You know, well, what can you do? What can you say? Then there's a bit more social proof from people who've made a decent amounts of money. People here who've done that. Showing you how it works. It's really good and it really works. And you know, there's a lot of these things around, but this was the one that we were recommended. And look at that! Look, sign up. 80% of Amazon sellers wish they started sooner. And you can get 14-day risk-free money back guarantee. Now, if you're considering doing that, anyone, I would sit and watch about 10 hours of YouTube videos about Jungle Scout as you can. Watch as many as you can to make that 14 days worth it. Because if you get your free 14 days and you're using those days basically to work out how to use it, it's a waste. Whereas if you go in knowing what you're doing, then you're playing ball. I mean, that's amazing. 4.5 over 2,000 reviews on Trustpilot. That is amazing. Because only about one person in 100 reviews, by the way. And you find all that stuff out when you get into Jungle Scout as well. So when you see someone on Amazon and they've got like 10 reviews, then you know they've sold about 1,000 products, because most people don't. We'll have a little look on Get Started. So yeah, we'll have a look at these. So here you go, look. So you don't want a professional, you've got the basic, and the suite is where there's a few of you that can help it, but basic's enough. £30 a month. Oh, what was that? Did someone come in, leave? Oh no, that was Jungle Scout. Should I talk to them? I'll try to see what I'll tell them. It's a computer, almost certainly, but I'll see if they can handle it. Where do I write? Where do I write? I don't get to write. So I only get to, so yeah, it's a bot. How boring. That is very boring. Or is that a real one here? So there you go, though. That's Jungle Scout. Worth a look. Hello, Marzipan. How are you, me old mate? Nice to see you. So, Ian, while we're only the few of us, and I keep saying about your shoulder, do you want to take this opportunity to tell us what actually happened to your when you fell off your bike? What damage did you endure? Because you've called me out a couple of times saying he keeps saying it was just his leg. Why are you saying mute to her? I'm not mute to her. Anyone else reckon I'm mute to her? Looks like I'm fully audio. Can anyone else hear me? Because the microphone's on. The mic says it's on down there. Censor more silence, or if anyone else. Oh, it's a muteware. Look, he says I can't hear you. He's throwing me a bollock, the cheeky. I'll like your farts, Marzipan. Well, I'm going to give you one more chance to give us the full story, or I'm just going to cast it off into the ether, and no one will ever want to know again. Drinking out of a bottle with a lid on, though, is rather cool. The girls love it. Nice to get a few heroes together, though. Marzipan, Communum. So rarely see Communum. Gets in here, drops a cockle, and then says, "Sorry, bruv, I gotta go." And Soulways even popped in. Then I'll make it, mate. I think I might make a cuppa in a minute as well. We are having Soulway, my friend. We are having a very light-hearted one. We are having a very light-hearted one. It is cheeky, but we're not on Twitch. But I will put the grift on. We are having a excuse me. Why not? Why not get the grift on? It is still 4 a.m. here. I think that's fair enough. But yeah, I just thought, because it's a weird one, the heroes. With the explorers, there's about 30 of them. So if I'd have done an explorers stream, there'd have been about 15, 20 of them. And it wouldn't have been as relaxing as this already is. You know what? Marzipan, Leaden, Sensum, Communum, Soulways just turned up. Right, what's this bloody code that I can never read? Good Lord, what is that? Since that concussion, I can't read properly. I'm serious. I know I said it all to you earlier, but it's got ridiculous. Sometimes I have to get out a magnifying glass. And at 48, I'm not sure that's necessarily what you should do. I've had a couple of mates have concussions, and I've just laughed them off, thinking, "Oh, you've had a bang on the head." But it's a heavy going thing, and you keep thinking it's gone. You keep thinking, "Oh, that's over," and then an hour later, you're puking your guts up, and your head's all over the place, and you're wobbling. You can't hold your balance. Yeah, it was really quite heavy, and I think it went on for about 4 months, didn't it? 4 months, yeah. Look at that though. Got me old Entrepay. Oh, that's where I've got it from, innit? Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez. So I've got the old Saint-Tropez on. There you go. Well, I don't think I really need to explain that to 4 people. But should you wish to donate to the entropy, we'll have no super chats tonight. This is Saint-Tropez only. The link's in the description of the video, but I've also put it in the chat. Look at that. So who have we got in here then? Who's still in here? It says down here that we've got 5. Now one of them's me. So Marzipan reckons he's still here. I wonder if Communum's still here. I think Motorway to Roswell had to go and have his tea. So me, Mar, Ledden, and JD. It's got to be, in it. Me, Mar, Ledden. Is Sensum still here? Is JD still here? Maybe the numbers are wrong. Well, they shouldn't. The Antipodean scrub shouldn't be having a few Zs. If I'm not, good Lord, that's hardly equity, is it? So listen, people, when you get with Vard, when look at that, the old entropy, the old Saint-Tropez kicked in, Sensen dropped a cockle, and he said, "A cheeky cockle, mate, because I don't know when I'll next catch you, buddy." You always say things like that. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's always lovely to see you, though. But I will turn that up so that everyone hears that. Marzipan said, "Got volume. It was silent on my phone. Hang on, I'll give Mr. Communum his own private proper volume." Medley. There you go. Thank you, Sensum. That's very cool of you. So yeah, so it's Ledden, Solway, Communum. I'm in here. Marzipan's probably making a cup of tea or something. So it would just be that it says there's eight people. Identify yourself, scrubs. You don't have to. He is making a cup of tea. Look at that. I bet it's lovely, isn't it? I can't risk it though because I've got to go to sleep. Hello, Clark. Just got here. You all right? It's a very laid-back Heroes stream. This is. Don't expect too much. Just a little bit of back and forth. But I was just saying, if you take the clear pill, and if you have the optimism and the hope, and you do need that, and psychologists have proven that it works. And like those Muslim neighbours I had, they said imams up and down the country are saying 10 years ago it was save up all the money from your homeland, bring it over, buy property, set up businesses, set up car yards, and just turn that money over. But they said the natives aren't using our car yards anymore. The natives aren't using our kebab shops anymore. The hostility is starting to show. The BBC propaganda is doing nowhere near as good as YouTube and the plethora of other literally independent people in rooms. And once that's part of the clear pill, and once you start seeing all of that, you start realizing that that everything they come here for is slowly being taken away from them. Why would you live in a hostile environment? And they're not hostile as in hateful, hostile as in, hostile as in, we've run out of money now. Our country, England, has now run out of money. We can't go to the NHS now because it's gone because of you lot, and you used it and your 10 strong families because of our liberal progressive governments. And so we're not really your friends. It looked very good in the Guardian, every page, anti-white this, anti-white that. It looked very good for you. But the truth is it's actually now quite hostile. And so, as any nationalist, they're missing their families, their extended families of like 20 or 30 people. And they're waiting there, they're missing their call to prayers in the morning, and the smell of their food being cooked in the local bazaars, and the smells of their markets, all the things that you love about your own nation. And they've sacrificed all of that. And on top of that, they're bringing their children up in schools where the girls walk round with skirts up round their arses, loads of makeup when they're about 13, and they don't want their children brought up in schools like that. Yes, you can say, well, many of them go to Muslim schools. Well, I'd like to see the numbers. Because if you've come somewhere and you're on benefits, Muslim schools are private. That's all very well for the well-to-do Muslim families, but there's plenty of them whose kids are going down the local state school where they're going in and they're learning all this progressive shit. They're learning about transsexual story time. So it's kind of going wrong for them. And they're going to, and the mothers who bring up the children are going to start saying, we don't want this. I don't want this for our children. I don't want it for our family. I want, like all nationalists, they'll be saying the same as us. I want my country back. I want my country back. I want what means something to me. People like me, people who sort of live abroad and fall in love with foreign girls, we're outliers. We're real outliers. You might see the adverts on the telly, but they're complete. That's complete fiction. The actual numbers are tiny. It's a drop in the ocean. What people actually want is to be surrounded in their own people. And look, I lived in Leeds, and Leeds is red brick terraces, and it's one room. You open the front door and it's one room, and the door you look at, the wall you look at when you open the door is the wall of the house behind it. So when they open their door, the wall they look at is your one. Do you know what I mean? And then the house goes up 3 stories. So you go round the stairs, there's a room there. Round the stairs, there's a room there. They're all so tightly packed in. And in Leeds, people still hang their washing across the front of the roads. Now, to me, as an Englishman, that's rather quaint, having the washing out over the front, over the roads, over the streets. People sitting on their doorsteps having a cup of tea in the morning and that. But can you imagine how foreign and just generally unpleasant that is for people who grew up in Muslim countries that look nothing like that? There's all this horrible music being played, and they're seeing their children being affected by it in a way they don't want. No, the clear pill is for me, it's the most optimistic and the most likely turnaround of this situation. And then you got people like Mark and Laura setting up the communities, getting that side of things going, which will just, that's almost like setting up the sort of patrols now. And they've only been going a year and a half, PA. Give them another year and a half. Those regional organisations, there might be 5 in one now. There might be 20 here and 30 here. In 2 years, this one will be 60 people. This one will be 150. Get rid of COVID. This one will be 400. This one will be 800. And then when any of those families get any grief by the police, or when any of those families get any grief by any enrichment, there's 800 people ready to turn up on their doorstep and cause them problems. Not violence. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting anything like that. But they can certainly put their hands in their pockets. They can certainly go around doing money raising campaigns, going through the town centres with those shakers and saying, look, so and so was raped. It's on police camera. But they're saying that it's not, you can't use it as evidence because it wasn't meant to be, the bullshit they do. So they can use the size of that community, and that's how that community gets stronger. And that's when people start joining it. And then they'd start doing neighborhood watch, because no one robs places where there's neighborhood watch. I know this for a fact. Because when there's people when they know there's a rota system, and on Monday night from 8 o'clock till midnight, there's a bloke at one end of the road and a bloke at the other end, just looking out the window, just seeing if there's anyone walking up and down the road they don't recognise. And that's going on nearly 24/7. And so other people think, I want some of that because crime goes down. Brr, brr. And people want to join these communities. These communities get bigger and bigger and bigger. The clear pill is happening, I'm telling you. Can't see how many. 6 marzipan's back. Solway's back. Of course. That always goes without saying. Silence is leaden, dropped Lady Godiva, and he said, this is for the last few streams. I sometimes feel like I've nothing to add to the chat, but I still enjoy what you have to say. Leaden, you're high-ranking scrub. Your contribution is being here and talking. When you go off into your life and talk to people, you might be able to suggest to them kinds of things that Gavin Bobby has talked about, the kinds of things I've talked about, not as the truth, not as being right, but as ideas. And that is your part. That's how we communicate. That's how we spread these things. That's how we make the clear pill clearer. JD Solway drops a cockle. Cheers, Chris and Scrubs. Just want to say thanks. Nice one, JD Solway. Exactly, Marzipan. And they know full well they are. They leave the house with their skirts going down to their ankles and then their nakib or whatever it is. They get round the corner. That lot goes in a bag in someone else's back garden, and out comes the mini skirts and the boob tubes and the lipstick and that, because these are Western. These girls have grown up in a Western culture. And they know this happens. And their mothers tell them, other mothers in the mosques. Oh, I saw your daughter out the other day. It was a school day as well. She was in town. Looked like little slut. Looked like little English slut. That's really bad for them. No apologies. No one ever apologies. You're a hero anyway, so you donate every month. I don't like this apologies, Lark. I don't like it. Oh, that's an interesting point, Ian. Sorry, I see what you mean. Do we want our daughters dressing like that? No, we don't. But once you have communities, you don't have daughters dressing like that. You know, our young girls dressing like that is an effect of our culture, because where do our children meet? We're not children. Where do our teenagers meet? It used to be at community affairs, like community fetes and things. It used to be at things like street parties, and where you could actually talk to each other, sit with each other, talk about things you liked, talk about things you were learning at a school that you enjoyed. Well, all that went. I saw it all go. And then what happened? Oh, then it was discotheques. Then it was raves. You try talking to someone in a rave. It's just ridiculous. It's just and so the conversation left the party. So women had to attract attention another way. And one of the easiest ways for a woman to attract attention is take most of her clothes off and make her face look like a blow-up doll. You know, all this stuff is interlinked. I was interestingly talking to some of my ex-girlfriends. I told you that real hot Vietnamese one rung me up. Well, she rung me up again tonight because we had it scheduled just to see how we're getting on. And she mentioned some story. And I said to her, let me tell you this. I said, my current girlfriend, we went to Raffles and she just could. I wanted to tell her the story about when he presented my missus the bottle of red wine, and my missus had never been presented a bottle of wine, and then picked it off his hand and had a gulp out of it, and she would not listen. She would not go there. It was quite something. I thought after 3 years of you being with some other bloke, well, she says she was. That's starting to look a little bit dubious. Either that, or it was so painfully boring that she can't quite come to terms with talking about it. But I just said to her, I said, you cannot listen to this, can you? And it got to the point where she couldn't even answer it, even when I was going, you can't listen to this story, can you? It's making you too jealous. She couldn't even answer. She couldn't even say yes or no. The most I got out of her was, no, go on. And I said, yeah, but now when I tell you the punchline or the kicker or whatever, you're going to go, because you haven't engaged in it. It was really quite something. And I even said it to her. I said, it's weird, actually. I said, watching your reaction to me trying to tell you that perfectly innocent story has reminded me why I hated you so much. But I scored my points back, though, when I said you have got the most beautiful body ever made. And I said, and it was made by goddesses as well, not by gods. It was made by women who know. So I had to quickly get her back on side. But then she said, well, I'm coming to Cambodia. I said, look, I wouldn't do that because there's absolutely no chance you're going to come around and meet me and my missus. I said, she'll tear your face off. There's that. And I said, and the other thing, there's absolutely no chance that the pair of us will come out and go to a restaurant or something with you for the same reasons. And she went, well, no, actually, I was coming out there anyway. I was coming out to meet a friend. Hang on a minute. Me and you came here, 6 or 7 times? And you made approximately 0 friends. You're not meeting a friend here. It was all such a. weird lie, and I got her to confess some of her lies as well. I got her to confess some of the things she'd done and while we were together, and that was quite nice. Since this is a largely, if not exclusively, male heroes stream, in the chat, how many of your girlfriends? Now I want it like this. I want it like a ratio. So if you've had 4 girlfriends, the first number is 4. And how many of them were mental, like psychotic? So if it was 2 of them, what I want to see is 4:2. If you've had 10 girlfriends and 1 of them was psychotic, it's 10:1. Right, I'll do mine first, and then we'll go from there, so you can get to see the format. Right. Hang on. So how many you've had, and then the next number is how many were absolutely psychotic. So I've had 7 girls you call your girlfriends, not one night stands or 3 or 4 restaurants and fucks. So I've had 7 proper girlfriends, and 5 of them were always a gnat's whisker from one of us ending up in hospital. Motivator Roswell's back. Good to see you, son. Well, the question we're asking now is how many serious girlfriends have you had? Like, not how many of, not dates, but proper girlfriends, over 6 months sort of thing. So that's the first number. So say you've had 7, you put 7, then a colon, and then how many of that number were psychotic lunatics? So if you've had 7 proper girlfriends and they were all mad, you put 7:7. You'll be able to see examples in the chat. It's looking rather similar, actually, especially people at a similar age. I've had 7 what I'd call proper girlfriends, and 5 of them were absolute lunatics. Marzipan's had fucking hell, man. That one that you found, it was all right. You must have thought you were in heaven. What? She likes me. I can sleep without a knife-proof vest on. Yeah, no worries, mate. This is a laid-back stream. I mean, I've got to knock it on the head in a minute. It's 4:30 in the morning, so I can't hang around for too long. Clark's had 4, and only 1 was nuts. The other 3 were just normal mental. Normal mental's brilliant. That's brilliant. It's brilliant because everyone knows what you mean. Everyone knows what you mean. I like that. I like that a lot. It's really tickled me. Don't worry, Motivator Roswell. Take your time. Doesn't matter. Ah, yeah, Marzipan. My first true love, who I should have stayed with and had a family with. Beautiful girl, loving, caring, sexy as hell, beautiful. Yeah, but I wanted more. I wanted to get out there. I wanted more. I got it as well. I got more. I got 20 odd years heroin addiction and loads of and stab wounds from girls. No, same as that. I met her when she was 16 and I was 17. Left her for a stripper. Oh, same as that, Marzipan. It was only when I went out with what Clark describes as a normal mental. That's when I suddenly thought, fucking hell. So this is what most of them are like. And so, that bird I've just finished with, because I thought she was a little bit boring. Yeah. I had exactly that. And I was obsessed with her for about 9 or 10 years. And I used to have like these mad sort of daytime fantasies, like what do I mean by daytime? Daydreaming, daydreaming fantasies that I'd get back together with her, and it would make everything in my life right, and my heroin addiction would just sort of disappear, and I'd end up sort of complete again, because the girls that broke me in between me leaving, and I left her, of course. Yeah, I thought that if I got her back for about 10 years, I thought that if I got her back, she'd put everything right. And I tried. Yeah, that's why I said it, mate. That's why I said it. But once you let go, I mean, I don't think you fully ever let go. But once you do let go, it's such a relief. It's such a relief. That's acceptance, and that's moving on. But I had a funny feeling you were going to say that. Clark says the number 5. Hang on a minute, Clark. Have you given us the ratio? Oh, 4-1. 4-1, and number 5 was what? Oh, okay. So that's the one you're with now, of course. So you've had 5, and the last one, are you married? Hang on, it says there the other 3 were just normal mental. Come on, put the Durban poison down. Motorway to Roswell. I think it's about 6 or 7. I think all of them genuinely only the love of my life now who isn't. I think it's about 6 or 7, and I think all of them. So you reckon genuinely about 6 or 7 real girlfriends you had were proper maniacs, and you honestly think the one you're with now, your wife, is the only one who's not mental? I mean, this is frightening stuff, isn't it? And this is going on up and down the country. This is going across, Western Europe. This is Paris, France. Well, Paris, France, Paris, Texas, Paris, England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, Italy. Young couples who got taught none of this stuff at school, got taught nothing about relationships, none of the stuff they should have been taught, got taught nothing about civics. It's just absurd. I can remember I was a very late developer, very late, sort of 15, 16. Didn't have any pubic hair really till I was 16, a little bit, but nothing to write home about. Not that I'd write home about pubic hair, especially not in the pubic hair. But there were some parties you'd go to, and there'd be like a girl on a bed, naked, and like 5 blokes just mauling her, and just sort of just and it didn't feel very loving. Do you know what I mean? And I always got the feeling the next day after those parties, people would be talking about it, going, "Oh, do you remember when Claire Oaten?" And like everyone was having a go, and everyone who was talking about it, they weren't. They were trying to celebrate it, but they couldn't. They were ashamed. They carried guilt. It was awful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like some mad prude. I do realise that young teenagers have it's been natural in most cultures to experiment sort of sexually and all that, but with the access to porn that people have got at the moment, I think there's a terrible pressure on women to perform in ways that basically you can only perform in if you're edited, if you're airbrushed, if you're lit, if you're wigged. It's just real women cannot compete with that. And this is what it's doing to young men. Young men are losing the ability to be aroused by women. And that is just shocking. They watch so much porn. And the weird thing about porn is it's sold as sex, but it's not. It's masturbation. It's wanking. It's a one person event. And then when they get with a woman, they expect it to be like porn. Oh yeah, I've seen this. I've seen sex, and it ain't. It ain't. Sex is about 2 people investigating each other sexually and going on a sexual journey with each other. And they've got none of that. They've learned none of that. No one's bothered teaching them anything to do with that. They haven't had a chance to discover it. They've had it imposed upon them. Dire. Roll on the clear pill. Good Lord. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think so, Ian. That's what I've always thought. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. One of my exes, my first love I was with for 8 years, who I left for a stripper. The stripper, who turned out to be bulimic, broke me. I'm not blaming anyone else for my heroin addiction. I never would do that. I know people who've had worse lives than me and never got on heroin. But without a doubt, she put me into the state of mind where I sought a very strong painkiller, because she absolutely shredded my life. Awful. And in that particular female way where they can just do you so much damage. A woman who knows what she's doing can damage your sex life for life. Yeah, great. There you go. Great point, Sensum. They get plenty taught about relationships, not just straight ones. Yeah, exactly. All right, people. Unfortunately, it's 20 to 5, and I can barely see the clock on my computer, so I'm going to have to go. I've done an hour and 10 minutes. Lovely, actually. Lovely to have a little chat with just the six of you. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Nice to see you too, Sensum. Nice to see you all, and that was an interesting chat. Had some. I mean, look at that. We live in a culture where all we hear about is domestic violence against women, and toxic masculinity. And in this, and then we just took six random people out of nowhere, and all of them have been mentally, physically, potentially sexually abused by most of their girlfriends. Absolutely absurd. Well, 1 second. I'll do something for you. No, I don't think I can find it, which is a terrible shame. No, I can't, which is a terrible shame. That's all right. We'll go with this. Okay. All right, people. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. I don't know if my girlfriend's coming over tomorrow. If she's not, we'll have a couple of streams, I'm sure, or at least one. She's definitely coming over the next day. So there'll be none on that day. That'll be Saturday. Clark says, "Nice one, Chris. The soothing, dulcet tones of Dangerfield spreading the love. I'll take that. Nice one, Clark. Scrubs rising." People, the weekend is here. Do your best to enjoy it. Take it easy. It's your one life. Make it work. And here's a little bit of something that you might appreciate. Ta-da.